A very good morning to all of you. Get ready to dive into the heart of our conference's themes and discussions by watching the enlightening and thought-provoking video that sets the stage for an inspiring inauguration.
Highlights key environmental factors such as sustainable consumption and production, conservation of biodiversity, and chemical and waste management. Training and research in fields connected to environmental sciences, as well as professional advocacy to address the challenges, are crucial to solving pressing environmental issues in a more scientific manner. Therefore, the Center for Environmental Sustainability of the University of Peradeniya has been committed to providing training in order to broaden the environmental awareness of the public, conduct research related to environmental issues, and offer consultancy services to tackle environmental pollution and other related problems in organizations over the last few decades. We intend to support and address the mitigation of a wide range of environmental issues in a sustainable manner. The vision of the Center for Environmental Sustainability is to ensure an environmentally informed and responsible society. The Center for Environmental Sustainability serves as a leader in environmental sustainability at the University of Peradeniya. It has been conducting interdisciplinary, environmentally related training, consultancy, and research programs since its establishment in 1992. Focusing on pioneering and interdisciplinary approaches, the Center for Environmental Studies has been accomplishing its goals by bringing together scholars from related disciplines from 9 faculties, 4 postgraduate institutes, and other related centers and units of the University of Peradeniya. Beyond the university, the Center collaborates with leading stakeholder ministries, institutes, departments, and private and non-governmental organizations. The main roles of the Center are capacity building of stakeholders of all levels by offering short courses, training programs, and workshops. It also organizes scientific discussions, online webinars, research conferences, and publishes magazines to disseminate new scientific knowledge in environmental science more efficiently. It supports studies on environmental issues locally and regionally and is associated with global programs. As a leading university in the country, with a large pool of experts in diverse fields, the Center is capable of providing consultancy services on a wide range of environmental issues, including areas such as industrial environment management and pollution control, environmental impact assessments, feasibility studies for major development projects, adaptation and mitigation options for climate change and biodiversity loss, developing master plans for conservation projects using state-of-the-art technologies such as GIS and drone surveys. The ultimate goal of providing such expertise to the industry is to create sustainable development and a healthy environment. Moreover, it organizes activities to inculcate sustainable environmental attitudes among school children, university students, and the general public. The Center for Environmental Sustainability has also been assisting the university towards implementing an effective environmental management system and reducing its global carbon footprint through forest restoration in degraded lands. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. The Center for Environmental Sustainability welcomes all of you.
Welcome, esteemed participants and guests to the third International Conference of the Center for Environmental Sustainability. We are thrilled to see you gathered here today, once again, bringing together passionate minds dedicated to addressing the pressing issues and challenges of our planet. Today, let us engage in insightful discussions, share innovative ideas, and collaborate towards a more sustainable future for generations to come. Your presence and contributions are invaluable, and we look forward to the impactful outcomes that this conference will undoubtedly produce. As we commence the third International Conference of the Center for Environmental Sustainability, I cordially invite the following dignitaries who are honoring us with their presence to light the traditional oil lamp, signifying the beginning of this remarkable event. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor M.D. Lamawan, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Terence Madhujit, Engineer Samantha Kumarasena, the CEO of the Sri Lankan National Cleaner Production Centre, Professor Tilak Hewawasam, the Chair of the Conference, Centre for Environmental Sustainability, Professor H.M.T.G.A. Pitawala, the Director of Postgraduate Institute of Science. Representing all 9 faculties, I invite the Dean of the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, Professor Lalani Atawara, the Registrar, Mr. E.M.G.M.B. Ekanayaka, the Librarian, Mr. R. Maheshwaran, the Bursar, A.M.B. Arampath, Dr. Nalin Suranjit, the Deputy Director of Research and Environmental Management, Center for Environmental Sustainability, Professor Anoma Pereira, the Deputy Director, Consultancy, Center for Environmental Sustainability, and Professor Nanda Balasuriya, the Deputy Director Trainee, Center for Environmental Sustainability. Thank you. Let us now rise and join in singing the national anthem. Now, I would like to invite the Vice-Chancellor, Professor M.D. Lamawansa, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Terence Madhujit, Engineer Samantha Kumarasena, the CEO of the Sri Lankan National Cleaner Production Centre, Professor Tilak Hewawasam, the Chair of the International Conference, Centre for Environmental Sustainability, to kindly take your respective seats at the head table. Now, I cordially invite Professor Tilak Hewawasam, the chair of the conference, to deliver the welcome speech.
Good morning to all of you, venerable members of Maha Sangha, our most valued distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my great pleasure to welcome you this morning to the third International Conference of the Center for Environmental Sustainability of the University of Peradeniya, ICCES 2023. Many of you have joined to this inauguration and keynote speech of the conference virtually via online platforms. We warmly welcome you. The Center for Environmental Sustainability of the University of Peradeniya conducts diverse activities in the focus of areas of training, consultancy, and research and environmental management. The international conference, an important event in the activity calendar and the strategic plan of the center, is organized in once every 3 years. First of all, let me highlight the objective of the conference this year. It is evident that overuse of natural resources, environmental hazards, environmental pollution and degradation are the current major global and local environmental issues. Such issues should be managed and monitored in a better way through a systematic approach for a sustainable future. Today, all of us talk about climate change and its consequences. In many places in the world, we experience changes in rainfall, resulting in more floods and droughts. And it has become very important to address these issues for a sustainable future. Therefore, this year's conference is organized under the timely theme of the quest for environmental management for sustainability under changing climate. More than 50 research papers will be presented at the conference under different thematic areas, such as biodiversity and conservation, wetland ecosystems, water quality management, pollution detection and control, green industry towards environmental sustainability, and land use planning and environmental monitoring. This conference is organized in collaboration with the Postgraduate Institute of Science, University of Peradeniya. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the director and the staff of the PGIS for their great support right from the beginning of organization of this conference. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to the chief guest, Professor Chandana Udavatta, the Vice Chairman of the University Grants Commission, for accepting our invitation. Professor Udavatta is compelled to attend another important meeting in Colombo this afternoon, and it is not in a position to come Peradeniya all the way from Colombo to be present here in presence. However, he joined the inauguration from Colombo via an online platform. Sir, we warmly welcome you to be the inauguration of ICCES 2023. I warmly welcome Professor M.D. Lamawansa, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, who has given his full cooperation to organize this conference. I would like to welcome the keynote speaker of the conference, Engineer Samantha Karunasena, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Cleaner Production Centre of Sri Lanka. We are very proud to have you here at the conference as the keynote speaker. I also welcome our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Terence Madhujit, who has given an excellent support, deans of the faculties, directors of the centers, and postgraduate institutes, who have given their fullest cooperation to organize this event. I warmly welcome the Registrar, Bursa, Librarian of the University, and all administrative and non-academic staff. I would like to welcome members of the organizing committee, all authors and presenters, chairpersons, discussants, session coordinators of the technical sessions, and our students. I believe that ICCES 2023 will be a great opportunity for researchers to share their work among the scientific community. On behalf of the organizing committee, I am pleased to declare this conference open. All the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now I invite Professor Terence Madhujip, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of University of Peradeniya, to address the gathering.
Good morning. Professor Chandana Udavatta, who is joining online, the chief guest for today's event. Professor M.D. Lamawansa, the Vice Chancellor of University of Peradeniya. Keynote speaker, Engineer Samantha Kumarasinghe, Director of Center for Environment Studies, Professor Tilak Hewasam, as well as chairperson for this conference. Deputy Directors of the Center for Environment Studies, Professor Nanda Balasurya, Professor Anoma Pereira, and Director PGICCES, Pitavala, heads of departments, deans of faculties, academic colleagues, bursa of the university, participants who join online, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. I am happy to hear that the Center for Environmental Studies, which has a long existence in this university, took the initiative to convert itself to Center for Environmental Sustainability with the aim of expanding the scope of this center. I have an organic relationship with CES. I can remember while I was a third-year student, I got involved with CES as one of the participants of the certificate course in environmental science, environmental management, as I remember. That time the center was headed by late Professor Shantake Hennayaka. Later on it expanded, and just a few months ago, end of last year as I remember, the CES, keeping the acronym the same, Center for Environmental Studies, was changed to Center for Environmental Sustainability. Now, Sri Lanka is a small country, yet in terms of population density, we are not that small. Ladies and gentlemen, of nearly 200 states, countries, and dependencies in the world, we are on 27th position in terms of population density. Our population density is about 341 per square kilometer. That's not a small number. We have been identified as one of the top biodiversity hotspots in the world. However, it is well known that in terms of biodiversity now, we have been really damaging our biodiversity for various reasons. Arable lands, if you watch news, it was reported nearly or even more, 60,000 acres have totally been destroyed, croplands, mostly in Walava region and also Kurunegala and other regions, North Central Province, because of the drought. And it is said that in the Walava region, this is the hardest hit drought within the last 15 to 20 years. Express Pearl disaster happened just little more than 2 years ago. And so far, we are not sure what chemicals had been leaked to our oceans. Air pollution. Although we came to know about air pollution in China, India, and other countries, we never experienced that level of air pollution until the turn of this year. January, February time of this year, we really experienced air pollution. And traffic congestions in Sri Lanka, When you are traveling from Colombo to Kandy, although we are just 110 kilometers away from Colombo, it takes nearly 4 hours for you to travel down to Kandy. In another developed country, it would be just 1 hour, 1.5 hour drive. So we are combusting gas for nearly 4 hours to travel 110 kilometers. That's because of our poor road network. And in 2017, I can remember, the country took a bold decision to ban two-stroke three-wheelers. There was a huge protest, but yet the government was strong enough to ban two-stroke three-wheelers, which had been one of the biggest polluter in the country. And banning plastics, Center for Environmental Studies, established in 1980s, mainly to do work on policy matters, formulation of policies, but it did not have powers to regulate early. But later on, the Center for Environmental Studies took over that powers, and now CEA is playing a major role in the country. However, so many industries in the country, how the effluent should be is standards have been set out by the Center for Environmental Studies, but how many industries do adhere to the COD, BOD, pH, and the turbidity? I'm not sure. How closely we monitor, I don't think we are at a satisfactory level. Air pollution, asbestos. In many developed countries, asbestos is banned, not now, long ago. And the previous government tried to ban asbestos. Perhaps since we do not have an affordable alternative for roofing and other materials, perhaps it again was not very successful. We are disposing more than 15 million lunch sheets every day in Sri Lanka. So there was a move. In 2017, Gazette notification was released banning lunch sheets less than 20 microns. However, it was not successful. Then again the ban was imposed in 2021 August, as I remember. It became successful up to a certain extent, but if you go to a shop, you can find many non-decomposable plastic sheets. Maybe for various practical reasons, still, it is high time for us to think twice, taking policy decisions and implementing. Enforcing, taking policy decisions, we are fairly okay, but in terms of monitoring and enforcing, I think Sri Lanka is way behind. We have to truly admit the fact that. So let's turn to the University of Peradeniya. Well, it is a small entity, but we have been trying our best. We are establishing sustainability move at Peradeniya. And we are right now working on all 17 goals to the best of our ability. I know that we are far behind. Plastic waste. Thanks to Dr. Chandima Herath, CMO of the university, and we wrote a proposal and forwarded it to Australia Alumni Association, and just last week it got approved. So with that, we are going to set up plastic PET, LDP, HDP, PP, and PS collecting units. We have already, the design is approved now. We are in the process of producing them locally and installing all these plastic collection units at all hostels and faculties. So hopefully it will work. Although we are recycling plastics, I know that we can easily recycle HDP as well as LDP. But our efforts are quite minimal. In many places, when you go, plastic is purely burned at homes. Unfortunately, some of the officers, government officers, have instructed poor people to do this in far remote areas. We know that burning plastic is not a healthy practice, not even trash for that matter. Plastic burning releases lots of dioxin, which is a well-known pollutant, and polluting our soil. Thus, I mentioned about this disposal of lunch sheets. These lunch sheets finally to decompose lunches, it takes nearly 100 to 200 years. So finally they become microplastics, and microplastics get into groundwater and it pollutes the entire system. So therefore, we should take actions. There's a very wide scope: testing, policy implementation, working on environmental pollution, etc. Coastal erosion, coastal degradation, mangroves. I know that our mangrove population extent is less than 1% of our entire forest cover, but still that 1% contributes a lot. So because of mainly dumping garbage in Negombo area, Pothuwil, in many areas, significant proportion of mangroves are already damaged. So therefore it's high time for us to work. Back to Peradeniya, we have taken a number of initiatives. One is establishing sustainability move, then collecting plastics, and during the COVID time, our scientists from Faculty of Science introduced respirant mask. Almost all of our globally available masks, they were not biodegradable. But the respirant mask, which can be reused for 30 times according to the inventors, is thankfully completely biodegradable. And the reducing plastic waste at University of Peradeniya also has been challenged. I can remember when we were organizing convocation, usually we buy nearly 15,000 water bottles, plastic PET bottles for convocation. I tried my best to avoid by reducing the number down to about 3,000, but it was a chaos. Everybody wanted to have a bottle of plastic water bottle. So that was a reality, ladies and gentlemen. Regreen Hantana project. Recently we started with the blessings from the Department of Botany, head DCA in front of me, and CES. We successfully initiated that just a few months ago. And the use of reusable energy, right now we are using less than 1%. I had a brief discussion today morning with Mr. Samantha, how we can establish solar panels. We have nearly 800 buildings on campus. How can we populate, how can we install solar panels here? And last, with regard to air pollution, just last week on August 7th, and not last week, couple of weeks ago, on August 7th and 8th, the University of Peradeniya Allied Health Sciences had a very strong collaboration with Duke University, North Carolina, United States, that was fully funded by the United States Department of State, multi-country project, capacity building. The 2-day workshop happened at JRDC, University of Peradeniya, on August 7th and 8th, and that's a multi-country initiative. The idea is to building capacity and establishing at least 60 low-cost sensors to monitor particulate matter, That way we can have a sort of monitoring mechanism to monitor the air quality in Sri Lanka and in all other 7 countries as well. So in that respect, what this conference is all about, as I remember, we have received nearly 50 abstracts for this conference, ICCES, which will take place today. And the first technical session is already completed before the inauguration, and the rest of the technical sessions will continue after this. So let me congratulate the organizer, chair of the conference, and all the team members for this initiative. What you have been doing is very important, and the blessings of the Vice Chancellor as well as the Director PGIS has always been very active. Last year we launched a journal on environmental issues, as I remember. So that's a very good initiative, fully fledged. Will be very sure it will be a high-ranked journal in the years to come. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Now, I kindly invite the Vice-Chancellor, Professor M.D. Lamawansa, Professor Anuma Pereira, the Deputy Director Consultancy, Center for Environmental Sustainability, to officially launch the proceedings of the conference and to mark the beginning of an engaging and enriching event.
It's okay. Here, is it?
From now on, the proceedings from CES can be assessed by anyone through the CES website. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty members and honored guests, it is my distinct privilege to extend a warm invitation to our esteemed Vice-Chancellor, Professor M.D. Lamawansa, to address the gathering.
Very good day to all of you. Professor Chandana Udawata, who is the chief guest of this occasion. So thank you very much for accepting our invitation, and I know that you are extremely busy today and you have a very important meeting beyond your control. And we hope to see you in the evening. I'm sure you will be here as you, he spoke to me day before yesterday and we met in Colombo, and he was feeling extremely sorry that he had accepted the invitation, but he couldn't make it physically here. And we have eminent speaker, engineer Samantha Kumarasenan, and director of CES, and Professor Terence Madhujit, director PGIS, and deans and senior academics, and also our media friends. They were there across in the engineering faculty in the morning, and now they are here. And ladies and gentlemen, and who are physically here at the PGIS auditorium, and who are now joining via online platform. Thank you very much for the invitation, Professor Tilakayosam, and it is a very important conference, and you are having it for the third time now, and on very important topics for us at this university and beyond. And you have had several events related to this conference, and I saw your brochures, and it gives me a great pleasure to congratulate you on for organizing these kind of activities, which are so important, and I don't need to highlight how important environmental sustainability to our living. Professor Terence Madhujit gave a very comprehensive overview of what we are all about and the university's commitments to environmental sustainability. And as he said that we have initiated some activities, but there are more that we could do, for which we need the assistance and cooperation of many stakeholders. This is the second conference that running today concurrently that I am attending, and in the morning, and we had on again how engineering could contribute to the sustainability, especially in terms of electrical, electronic, and AI included. So in this way, dear colleagues of the university, and by organizing international conferences of this nature, because then you bring in international dimension into our practices, and also you take our university to the international arena. And it goes without saying that, and I'm extremely thankful to you for doing that and taking those initiatives. As I mentioned again in the morning, that I'm not qualified to talk about environmental sustainability, and unlike Professor Terence Madhujit, and except to say that I have lived in environments which was not spoiled, but here now after 50 years, and I live in an environment which is by and large spoiled, and it is not something that we all can be happy about. But as a medical practitioner, I can see the impact that deterioration of the environment has done to the health of humans. We discussed in the morning how the living could be improved by introducing engineering-related sustainability and AI. And now we are talking about how the environmental sustainability can be improved, that is again for better living. So we always talk about better living. And when it comes to the better living and health, you know, these days, and with sudden changes of temperature and more evaporation, and we get body aches and pains, and so many people have told me, and some of them are down with just viral-like illnesses because of this change. And older you are, more likely for you to feel those changes. And that is something very gross measure of what we are going through with these temperature changes. But look at from a different and a much more comprehensive way, and many scientists, the medical professionals and related scientists are looking at how the climate change can impact on human health. It is estimated during the next 50 years or so, there will be, due to climate change, migration of mammal species up to about 3,000 to 4,000 from where they are now. And with that migration, they will take different viruses and different bacteria to a new environment. And the human living in those new environments will get exposed to this kind of organisms. That is one aspect. And the second aspect is that the organisms, especially the viruses, are specific to a certain species, will cross to other species. And it is estimated that about, again, 3,000 viruses during the next 50 years will cross species, especially from animal to human. That is what we are mostly concerned about now. So with that kind of change happening before our eyes, and what will happen to human health is unimaginable. We have examples of this. When I was a student and the HIV came in early 80s, and we did not know where and how it came. It was all attributed to the intimate behavior. But we got to know later on the origin of HIV. And today we know how corona came up, and how diseases like flu and Ebola. So most of these are related to the changes in the environment and crossing viruses, crossing species. So that is one aspect, that how the climate change can affect the human disease, human health. Human health is a summation of that environment I spoke about, and also the social determinants, and also the personal behavior. And they are interrelated as well. And what we are trying here today is to find out the ways that how personal behavior as individuals and collectively can change and change for better. In that way, and we saw in this video that highlighting the importance of oneself rather than depending on someone else to change the practice and the behavior, so the environment is. University by and large is involved in this kind of activities, and the climate change has taken as a serious business for us, and also the sustainability of the environment. And looking at globally, and when you look at the climate change, which is likely to change the temperature by about 1.5 to 2 centigrades in coming decades, will have a devastating impact. Even 1.5 centigrade is considered a very serious threat to the human health. And there are things that we can anticipate, and there are many things that we cannot anticipate. Corona as such was not anticipated in that scale. Fortunately, Corona's death rate was very low. What happened when a virus like Ebola went uncontrolled and the mortality is 60%? Every 3 people get affected, 2 will die of Ebola. So it is that bad what we are confronted with. And unfortunately, most of these things happen in Asian and African countries. These things originate in these 2 countries, these 2 continents. But of course, everybody in the world are susceptible. We saw what happened in Italy and Germany and all those countries at the beginning of the pandemic. However, although they are vulnerable, some of these things start in the most vulnerable areas, as I said, in the Asia and Africa. And they are sometimes the most disadvantaged, because they cannot withstand all these economic and the other health pressures. And also they are most vulnerable, and they are the most likely or least likely to contribute to the environmental changes which has brought the viruses to them. So in that way, it is rather unfortunate that unsuspecting people in our part of the world get affected with these things, and even before any vaccines, for example, is developed, as you saw experience in COVID. And the climate change not only bring these kind of diseases to the surface, melting ice, for example, has exposed some of the viruses which have been hitherto hidden for thousands of years, and including anthrax. And what will happen, and if one of those bugs, which we have not got exposed to yet, infect one of us, and there is no immunity whatsoever, and we don't know what their genomes and their behavior might be. So that is melting of ice, what it can do. So these emerging and re-emerging infections are a real threat to human lives, and it is there for us to try and do the maximum possible to save our lives. And if you look at the major infections episodes that history has recorded, about 58% of them are directly related to the changes in environment, the climate change, 58%. And the millions and the billions of people have died due to these things. Therefore, what the university and the CES is trying to do is highly appreciated, and there are many stakeholders that we can collaborate with. I think in the caliber of today's guest speaker, Samantha Kumarasena, with whom that we had a very good chat about and how we can work together to create new knowledge that we are entrusted with, and also to share that knowledge with our people and try and change the behavior of people. And before we try to change their behavior, we should change our behavior, both the academics, the non-academics, and the students, and set an example, and for which university has commenced some work, CES, and also under the leadership of Deputy Vice Chancellor, looking at these sustainability aspects. And as a result, Times Higher Education Impact ranking last year placed us between 301 and 400. That is the first time that we submitted our data, and hopefully next year, and with more work being done, and we might get a even better recognition. And to coordinate all this work, and at a more local level, it may be perhaps now we are well matured enough to establish a sustainability office, so that we can coordinate all these activities in the university, which will help society at large and our living. Thank you very much once again for the invitation, and I wish you the very best for your conference.
Thank you, sir. I cordially invite our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor M.T. Lamawansa, onto the stage to present a token of appreciation to our keynote speaker, Engineer Samantha Kumarasena. Now, I invite the distinguished members of the head table to kindly join our esteemed audience. Unfortunately, we regret to inform you that the chief guest is unable to attend this special occasion. However, he has graciously sent us a recording of his speech, ensuring that his valuable insights are still shared with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Lamawansa, the Vice Chancellor, University of Peradeniya, Professor Terence Mandujit, Deputy Vice Chancellor, University of Peradeniya, Professor Tilakewasam, the Director, Center for Environmental Sustainability, and his organizing committee members, my fellow academic staff, administrative and non-academic staff members, dear students, the visitors, and especially the academics, those are joining online today, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely honored to Professor Tilakewasam and his organizing committee for being invited me as the chief guest to grace this event and asked me to deliver a short address for this special occasion of the 3rd International Conference of the Center for Environmental Sustainability. I extremely regret to inform you that I could not present this event in person since I have to attend an important meeting in the afternoon at the Parliament. So therefore I am sending this short message to this conference. This conference is a prestigious event to address environmental issues and the climate changes to achieve environmental sustainability through research, inventions, and dialogues. So this forum would be an excellent platform to bring together expert researchers, academics, and leaders to showcase their research finding, and participate in interactive discussions which will ultimately benefit for policymakers for successful implementation. I hope that these developments will also lead to increase the multidisciplinary and multinational collaboration among our academics. So we all know that the environment is crucial, or environment is very needed for both healthy living and continuation of life on the planet. By environment, I mean every part of the sphere, all living and non-living things occurring naturally, not artificial, like soil, water, mountains, trees, animals, and all are part of our environment and equally significant in their own way. Earth is home for various species of life, and all our needs depend on the environment, such as food, air, water, and some other requirements. So every element of the environment is being affected by the human activities. But if we exhaust these resources so quickly, the future generations will not have access to them. We can only ensure the good health and long life to our future generations if we protect and preserve our environment now. So in order to truly understand what environmental sustainability means, we must learn how to use resources in a sustainable way. So therefore it is very crucial for each individual to preserve and safeguard our ecosystem and make sustainable use of resources. To improve the management of the environment, the environmental science-based research and knowledge dissemination through this type of scientific forum should be encouraged. Therefore, it is commendable that the University of Peradeniya, this Center for Environmental Sustainability, organizes the conference once in 3 years while providing a forum for researchers to present their discoveries or results in the field of environmental science. So we always face some challenges when we organize this type of program. The challenges made by this conference are significant, but I am confident that you all will succeed in your objectives. Further, I extended my warm and sincere gratitude to the organizing committee for their committed effort to make this event a grand success. Finally, I extend my warm and sincere gratitude to the organizing committee for your dedicated service to make this event a grand success. So finally, I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Chief Executive Officer, National Cleaner Production Centre, Sri Lanka. Ms. Samantha Kumarsena graduated from University of Moratuwa in BSc Engineering in 1994. He obtained his Master's in Textiles Industry and holds an MBA of Management of Technology. Mr. Kumarsena is an energy auditor and well-experienced cleaner production auditor. He is a chartered environmental professional of Institute of Environmental Professionals of Sri Lanka. Mr. Kumarsena is a distinguished trainer in cleaner production, environmental management, life cycle assessment, eco-design, eco-innovation, carbon and water footprints, etc., with international training and experience. He has served in the international review panel of a UNEP Design for Sustainability, D4S, Technology and Toolkit. During his career of 28 years, he has been a trainer and a consultant in international projects in Bangladesh, Cambodia, Georgia, Malaysia, Pakistan, Vietnam, etc. He has addressed and presented the papers in international conferences in more than 10 countries. And also he has been serving as a visiting lecturer for several universities during last 22 years. Okay, thank you. May I invite Engineer Samantha Kumarsena to deliver the keynote address. Thank you.
Without further ado, I invite the keynote speaker, Engineer Samantha Kumarsena, the CEO of the Sri Lankan National Cleaner Production Centre, to take the stage and enlighten us with his expertise and vision.
Good morning. Professor M.D. Lamavansa, Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Terensi Madhushi, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Tilak Hewawasam, Director for Center of Environmental Sustainability, distinguished resource persons, distinguished invitees, staff of the Center for Environmental Sustainability, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the Center for Environmental Sustainability of University of Peradeniya for inviting me to deliver this keynote address of this timely and highly recognized forum conducted for the third time. In fact, I have been associating with the Center for Environmental Studies with various other contributions and engagements. So it's a great pleasure today to deliver this keynote address. So then we have picked up the topic as creating the pathways for the circular economy by enriching the organizational level environmental sustainability roadmap. As we are aware, globally, so particularly led by EU, so we move to the circular economy as nations. However, the organizational level environmental sustainability roadmap is very much central as well as useful in achieving such goals so that we as organizations working at the organizational level more than national level. So then this must be looked after. First of all, I would like to start with the term environmental sustainability. The center is in core business of environmental sustainability. So, though we have a very strong definition for the sustainable development given by Brundtland Commission report, so we have, let's say, several definitions given by scholars for the environmental sustainability. So therefore, in some audience, though they generally pick up the term environmental sustainability, they are not in a position to give a very right definition for the what is environmental sustainability. So that I would like to clarify with one of the most recognized definition for this, what it is as, let's say, I see this as a clear-cut definition. So basically, environmental sustainability, again, all with so-called environment. When we come to the environment, the key issues are nothing else other than water, energy, and materials. So then, we have to look after those three resource flows at organizational level, national level, and global, global level as well. So then, when we come to the renewable resources, sometimes we think going for renewable is the solution. But still, we should understand, so in case renewables, still the rate of harvest should not exceed the rate of its regeneration. Now, today we are talking about sustainable fishing. So because if you make it in unsustainable way, you cannot continue the same practice throughout. Of course, sustainability is the ability to continue defined behavior indefinitely. When we come to the pollution, what is the level of sustainability? We cannot argue that you should not pollute, go for zero pollution overnight. It cannot be met. But we are in a journey to achieve that. But still, if the rate of waste generation is not exceeding the assimilating capacity of the receiving environment, then it is sustainable. So then, when we come to the renewable resources, non-renewable resources, what is the status? So in non-renewable resources also, because we are consuming a plenty, including fossil fuel, how can we demand the sustainability? Of course, the level of depletion of non-renewable resources, because those are getting depleted, is, of course, is incomparable to the development of the renewable alternatives, substitutes for them, is infra, then of course we can rate that as sustainable. let's say for fossil fuel, for example, one of the major crises. So we are generating renewable energy sources at a rate now. So therefore, earlier, if you can remember, 20 years ago, we assumed that some varieties of fossil fuel would have been over by today. But still it is there. Why? Because renewable energy has come in and substitute in a significant way. So then, as I mentioned, so these three key resource flows are the important part when we are addressing the environmental sustainability issues. So if I ask a question, what will be the most scarce resource in future out of those three? Is it water, energy, or materials? Yeah. So in most of the audience, I get it is either water or energy. But so if you look at the energy, we are getting plenty of energy from the sun every day, every minute. So that is more than enough for us to meet our demand on the planet. Only thing, we need some feasible technologies. So then we have PV technology to convert this solar energy into electricity. Is it affordable? Yes, now it is financially feasible. You can look at this graph below there. So the prices of the solar panels, okay, what is happening to the prices? Getting down, okay, from 2017 to 19 is indicated here, is getting down. So therefore, that means the solar energy is getting converted at a significant rate, so that now today we assume that energy won't be a significant problem in future. We have the proven technology now. Then what about the water? So then fresh water sources are getting polluted, that is true. We face that challenge. But still, if you see how the Middle East countries getting sourced their water, how the Singapore now survive without extending the water agreement with Malaysia, what do? They recirculate water from seawater or sewage. How can we do that? Because reverse osmosis is a technology, proven technology, that we can make it. If you look at the graph in the right-hand side, in the top, so then water supply schemes are getting expanded, more and more water is irrigated for various purposes, but still then the water prices unit prices are coming down in terms of US dollars, okay, not in rupees. So, therefore, so what it indicates is, the water resources are also available in plenty in the oceans. So then we have now technology. So Middle East countries in a way supply water at a much more competitive price than us with this technology. So then, let me come to the materials, the other graph. What is happening to the prices of the materials? Going up and up. So materials are getting expensive. We apply enormous pressure on the resource base. So therefore, when we are talking about the environmental sustainability, particularly the term circular economy has come in to address the issue of the materials. Then, just to get some idea about the material flow, we have various indicators. Ecological rucksack. So ecological rucksack indicates for whatever the product we are carrying out, so how much resources has been shifted to make that product. Now let's say, for example, if you take 5 gram gold ring, so it is 5 gram as we see, but more than 2,000 kilograms of resources has been shifted to make that 5 gram gold ring. So likewise, when we take various products we are carrying, when we are sitting over there, so the total weight will be between 5,000 to 10,000 kilograms if we count it, for your dress, for your wristwatch, for your mobile phone, etc. So therefore, that is the pressure we apply on the planet. So then, More important indicators are ecological footprint and Earth's biocapacity. Ecological footprint indicates how much productive land area, how much is the demand on the resources by mankind. How many hectares of resources are we demanding? For example, Sri Lankans about 1.2 hectares per our need, an American about 9 hectares likewise. Then the supply is indicated by the Earth's biocapacity. But biocapacity cannot meet this need. So therefore, we have Earth overshooting day. This graph indicates how the Earth overshooting day has moved forward, and in this year, it was fallen to the 2nd August. That means by 2nd August, the resources generated by the planet has already been consumed by mankind. After that, then how do we live? We live on debt, right? So from whom are we borrowing? From the next generation. So then the planet will get another overshooting day, okay? You know, when you borrow unlimitedly, I mean, nothing to tell that what will happen. In one fine day, you will be getting into a deadlock. So therefore, that is the challenge. So materials cannot be over-extracted. There will be a overshooting day. It is already there, but you know, this is coming forward and forward. So then, this is one of my old slides. I am using more than 10 years now. So this indicates, so the resources generated by the planet is not adequate. So therefore, we cannot follow the conventional development path as followed by developed nations. We must follow an alternative development path now. Okay, so that's the message. So because we cannot, simple reason, we cannot find some more planets. But then, as we know, the key solution is resource circulation. But the global recycling rates are still very low. This is a study in 2010 by UNEP. There's no any updates afterwards. So according to this, these are the percentages. In overall globally, recycling rate is about 9%. So, but we have to increase that rate in order to survive, preserving the natural capital, then we can live on resource circulation. So then, when we look at all countries globally, so we all try to achieve our better quality of life. That is indicated by Human Development Index. We want to have high Human Development Index. But the problem is, developed countries have achieved that prosperity using all resources. So therefore, in developed countries, though they maintain high Human Development Index, their ecological footprint is also high. So therefore, they are living in the quadrant in the right-hand side in the top. There's another set of countries, like ours, developing countries. We are in another quadrant where both Human Development Index and ecological footprint are low. That means we maintain low Human Development Index, but so then ecological footprint is also low. That means we have achieved our better quality of life through economic development, which sustain on resource consumption. Can we continue this development model for future? We cannot. We should move to the sustainability quadrant. Sustainability quadrant is where Human Development Index is kept on high while reducing the ecological footprint. So then EU countries with the Circular Economy Declaration since 2015 working on that target. Then we also as a country has to adopt alternative development strategy. So this is we cannot follow this conventional path. Okay. So we can cut across to the sustainability quadrant. without passing the same development strategy which is based on resource base. Okay, how can we do that? So then we go by this theory of decoupling. So decoupling, a lot of literature is available. So basically, we know we cannot compromise with our quality of life. We have to maintain that. If the economic development is a prerequisite for better quality of life, that also, yes, we have to agree upon. But we disagree that we have to continue same resource consumption patterns. So then, resource decoupling is a possibility. That means conducting economic activities using lesser resources than we were using earlier. For example, Japan has done that. So then, as you know, they are the first country to declare their economy as a circular economy, because they came out with they saying 3R economy. So 3R is the basis of even circular economy. So then, otherwise, some people have achieved impact decoupling. That means, let's say you use resources, but the impact on the environment has been reduced. Okay. So, there's a report by UNEP about the current status of the decoupling globally. It says only relative decoupling is happening. Relative decoupling means you keep on increasing the resource consumption, but not at the same rate as earlier. Relatively decoupled, but still increasing. What is expected is, especially for the developed countries, go for absolute decoupling. That means increasing the economic activity, so going for better quality of life while reducing the resource consumption from the levels in the past. Then, so this impact decoupling or resource decoupling can lead to circular economy. Let's say, in other words, circular economy strategy is to achieve this kind of impact decoupling, then resource decoupling as well. So then, we need tools and techniques, strategies to achieve this. That is where we are working. So, as you know, circular economy, I think everybody aware of this concept by now. Two British environmental economists, David and Kerry, came out with this concept in 1989. So subsequently, EU adopted this as a declaration in 2015. Before that, China declared their economy as a circular economy. So now globally, high recognition is there for this movement. So under circular economy, according to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, because various, let's say, concepts and theories has come out as to how to achieve this circular economy in practice. So then, according to them, one thing we have to preserve and enhance the natural capital. Keep it without using. That's the strategy. Preserve it. Then, whatever the resources in usage, we can adopt various strategies to optimize the resource yield. That is one area where we are working. Then resource circulation also is possible. In the third round, we can go for system approaches. Let's say, for example, now rather than having vehicles by all of us, we can have a carpool. So likewise, a lot of resources are shared today. Those are new business models. With them, we can achieve further resource productivity. Then, now let me come to some areas that how we try to contribute for this thing. Now, for example, globally, cleaner production is a tool that has been using thousands of companies for more than 20 years. In Sri Lanka also, it has been using for more than 20 years, led by NCPC. So then, cleaner production work with 8 cleaner production techniques. Input substitution helps to preserve the natural capital. Then we have 5 other cleaner production techniques to achieve the source reduction. So source reduction or preventive approach is the priority, so that you save the resources. Then whatever the waste that are generated beyond our limits, then we can adopt 2 techniques for resource circulation, that is reuse, recycle, recovery, as well as making byproducts, etc. Cleaner production tells us in a very simple, practical way how to do that. So then we have hundreds cases, those which can be replicated in companies. So to achieve this resource savings, generally in material flow 10 to 20% resource savings can be achieved with low cost, no cost options. Even energy, water can be achieved. Now for example, if you get these green factories in Sri Lanka coming out from the apparel supply chain, so then they have their performance that they have declared. So we have evaluated some of them under National Cleaner Production Awards program when they apply for that, their claims. So they claim that we have reduced the energy flow by 53%, water flow by 46%. So they have achieved so-called factor 2. They have made the resources half. So therefore with the techniques like cleaner production, we can go up to 50%. But 50% is not adequate. We need some more novel strategies to save resources much more. So then sustainable product innovation is important area. So then your product can be redesigned in such a way that your resource consumption is significantly low, as well as you are using non-toxic, non-hazardous, renewable materials. For that, there are widely used strategies designed for sustainability, so which was introduced by UNEP in 2005. Biomimicry is also practiced quite a lot. We have a lot of examples globally today. So new designs has been developed based on biomimicry. Then green chemistry, green engineering. Those 2 subjects were introduced by founders were John Warner and Professor Paul Anthus. So then this was mainly actually is coming from US. But UNIDO implemented the first global project, pilot project on green chemistry in 2017. So as NCPC, we were partner, so that in first 8 countries in Sri Lanka also this was implemented. So these tools are now coming out in a big way for the sustainable product innovation. So eco-innovation is a little bit different, that is business model innovation. I will touch upon that as well. So then, out of these tools, for your information, other than biomimicry, in all other areas, we conduct projects, we work with the industries to bring this, to apply this in the organizational level, so that those are embedded into their sustainability, or in other words, environmental sustainability roadmaps. So they are going for that. Some have already done that. Some are willing to do that. So therefore, that will be helping in a big way for us to achieve circular economy objectives. So design for sustainability and design for environment are 2 different strategies. Under this one, compared to cleaner production, which we optimize at organizational level, we can optimize in the life cycles. So therefore, from extraction of raw material till the end of life, all the environmental impacts are taken into account. You can be based on LCA definitely, so to count them exactly. Then you can come out with some, let's say designer has the highest possibility to redesign the product. Then, so you can alter inflow resources as well as the product and the way that it is disposed. So everything will be redesigned. Thereby we can achieve resource conservation of about 20–30%. So this toolkit is available, freely downloadable. So it is giving a detailed methodology as to how to implement these things at organizational level. So therefore it's available. Further, then this dematerialization can be achieved various other techniques. Virtual products like replacement of the letters with the emails. So that is another very important strategy for dematerialization. Sharing economy, second-hand products, there's a market. So not only, not in developing countries, but in developed countries. So now, for example, in Japan, if I take a very practical example, what I have seen, so I went there in '97 in this Akihabara in Tokyo. A lot of electronic items are in display. So a lot of people buy there. But in 2015, when I visited again, what I noted was next to those shops, there are some other shops who sell second-hand products, second-hand laptops. Can't a Japanese citizen afford to have a new laptop? Can. But the environmental consciousness make them buying second-hand products for their purpose. So therefore, that also help us quite a lot, that sort of practices to go for resource conservation. Product lifetime extension is looked after today because we don't make one-time use products, short-lived products, because that generate heaps of waste. So therefore, leading companies are focusing their R&D to make it long-life products. Material circulation strategies coming after that, those are so many. In addition to that, circular business models are very important. I would like to spend a little time on that as well. So then when we come to the material circulation, we have started learning from 3R. Then it has been expanded. We were considering 8R under circular economy, but today the publications are there about 60R. So various R, okay? So which we can adopt for the purpose of resource circulation. So, however, we have to pick up the right R depending on the product and the context. Now, for example, you can see three materials here that we advocate to recycle or return for the resource circulation. For example, aluminium as a metal, because aluminium is the one which is generating highest greenhouse gas emissions in their extraction process. So other than metal, then we go for, let's say, glass. Then we are talking about plastics. So among them, let's say if it is glass, are we recommending offhand for the recycling? Recycling is not the best option. Reusing is the best option. Why? You have to melt it again, you have to use a lot of energy, emit the GHG as in the virgin product in the glass recycling. So therefore, as much as possible for glass, we have to go for reusing options. Now, for example, in Japan, there are companies that I visited, even broken glass is not taken for recycling, but you make different products out of it. Flower vases, then the lampshades. So the important thing, that product has higher economic value than the original bottle, broken. So upcycling happens. So then rest of the glass dust is used for construction blocks, etc. Still reusing, not recycling. Then, of course, for the metal, recycling is a good option because in the extraction of metal, huge energy flows are involved emitting greenhouse gases. So recycling is a very good option for that. Because scrap metal today, we try to make use of in the construction materials as much as possible. So then, another important strategy is coming out, which we were not using earlier, remanufacturing. You know, repair is done if the product is broken before the end of the lifetime. But after the end of the lifetime, we all think that now the time is there for us to discard the product. But under remanufacturing, we can give a new birth, new life to the product. In Europe, there are service provider organizations who undertake this remanufacturing. so that you do complete overhaul and use the product again for a new lifetime. That saves a lot of resources. So then, let me come to the sustainable business models. You can change the entire business model. We are the core business as well as all business operations has the sustainability. Eco-innovation is one of the key tools there. Then service-oriented business models, that means replacement of product with a service. As well as then, let's say, product sharing based various tools are there. Circular subscription concept, that means you rent it out without owning it. So this kind of strategies are followed in developing novel business models. Another very important one, which is coming from a different school, is chemical leasing. So that chemical leasing has been implemented in Sri Lanka for last 15 years in various companies. You change the business model in such a way that resource conservation is achieved, both supplier and the user. So then, eco-innovation, in fact, it happened in EU, leading EU companies prominently in 2000 to 2010 period. Having learned from them, EU developed the eco-innovation methodology and the toolkit to disseminate this to the developing countries. I got opportunity to involve in that process right from the beginning since 2009 onwards. Then in 2012, this model, let's say, this toolkit came out. So after that, we implemented in the first round of pilot application. So in the agri-food sector industries, then we continue to dairy companies. In last year, we implemented in the chemical companies who are supplying to construction chain. Now we are working with some other international projects also in advisory capacity also to propagate this eco-innovation projects. So it's a very important strategy because you change the business model into a new one where resource conservation is in many folds. So this is some important tools and techniques coming under the toolkit, which this is also toolkit is freely available, can be downloaded and use it because UNEP has made it available. Case studies are also there, some are done by done in Sri Lanka. So before ending up my keynote, I would like to touch upon one more important topic regarding resource circulation. This is one of the very important area for a country. So if you cannot circulate at organizational level, what can we do? Then we can collaborate with your neighbors so that your waste can be a resource to your neighbor. So that concept is followed under several tools, particularly industrial symbiosis. The first, the picture is Kalundborg Industrial Park in Denmark. That is the world's first eco-industrial park, where the resource waste exchange or industrial symbiosis started happening with the interest of the companies for the economic reasons, not for environmental reasons. But after that, it was evolved as the world's first eco-industrial park. After that, globally, a lot of countries have started their eco-industrial parks. Now, UNIDO has prioritized in their scope of work to support for development of eco-industrial park. Earlier, their priority was resource-efficient cleaner production. Now, their priority is eco-industrial park. So then, having completed the first global project, they had the dissemination in last October in South Africa. I also got opportunity to join. So after that, now they have signed up agreements with 6 countries for the second pilot. Then they have developed, more important thing, a very comprehensive toolkit as well. I will tell a little bit about that. In addition to that, at organizational level in OECD countries, this extended producer responsibility is highly taken. So then we have this UNEP and other entities has developed this IOMC toolkit also. It is also freely available where extended producer responsibility is one of the tools proposed. So in Sri Lanka also now regulations are under preparation to promote extended producer responsibility. Under this one, what will happen is the manufacturer, producer is taking the responsibility about the end of life of the product. They can either take it back and recover the resources, which is, it is a very promising strategy for you to save resources and improve the profitability. If you cannot do so, they can support another recycler. Manufacturer can support another recycler to do the same. Then that is, of course, will be working at, let's say again, not in one organization sometimes within one organization. So then eco-industrial parks, existing industrial parks can be converted into eco-industrial park. So it's also happening. Then UNIDO GIZ has developed these toolkits for the to supporting that. These are the key components of eco-industrial park under review and development. One of the key thing now, in central, all the companies going to implement cleaner production. After that, then they look for resource exchange, because at source level you have to optimize first. So then, these are the reference materials available. Free of, that is, these are also freely available, developed by UNIDO and GIZ. So those are giving a lot of guidelines about setting up eco-industrial park, but that should happen with the leadership of the zonal management, like let's say BOI, IDB, Ministry of Industries. They are the leaders. So then I went through this training, but Sri Lanka also we try to have a UNIDO supported training in future. We try our level best to actually proper training on this toolkit will be very much helpful for our organizations to take it forward. So then today in my keynote, I wanted to bring some areas which are, let's say, proven, where we have worked and tested, so mostly. So then very limited, maybe 80% is areas where we have worked, and the other 20% also has been proven globally. So therefore, those strategies will be helpful for us to go for a right resource circulation and to achieve our objectives, circular economy. Important thing I would like to convey is, we have an economic crisis. So this circular economy not merely for protecting environment, but to survive economically. That's why EU have adopted it. Because in any product, 70% of the value is the material. If you manage that resource, then your profitability can be increased. So then, even circular economy I suggest as a solution for the current economic crisis of this country. So with that, I would like to conclude my keynote address, and thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you very much for your insightful ideas, sir. I now invite Dr. Nalin Suranjit to graciously deliver the vote of thanks and express our gratitude to those who attended this remarkable event.
Good afternoon, everyone. As the coordinator of the 3rd International Conference of the Center for Environmental Sustainability, University of Peradeniya, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for the individuals and organizations who helped to make this event possible. First of all, I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Professor M.D. Lamavansa, for his valuable guidance and support for CES. Also, I highly appreciate the patronage and support extended by our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Terence Madhujit. I would also like to thank the chief guest, Professor Chandana Udawatta, Vice Chairman of the University Grant Commission, for his valuable insight and inspiring words, though he could not attend to this event today due to his work commitments. I am very much thankful to our keynote speaker today, CEO, National Cleaner Production Centre Sri Lanka, Engineer Samantha Karunasena, for his expertise and insight on environmental sustainability. And I hope that, DVC sir, we can use his expertise in reducing our energy and water consumption, I think. We are also grateful to the AHEAD project of Ministry of Education for their generous sponsorship for this event. I'm also thankful to the Director PGIS and his staff for providing us with the venue, financial assistance, and other support. Support provided by the Board of Management members of the CES is gratefully acknowledged. A big thank you goes to the volunteer students and staff for their unconditional support. And I express my heartfelt gratitude to the following organizing committee members of ICCES 2023 for their hard work and dedication in making this conference a success. They are Conference Chair and Director CES, Professor Tilak Hewawasam, Chair of the Editorial Committee, Professor Anoma Pereira, Chair of the Session and Venue Committee, Professor Nanda Balasurya, Chair of the Registration Committee, Dr. Tarindu Devasurendra, Chair of the Ceremonial Committee, Dr. M.M. Ali Khan, Chair of the Web Media and Publicity Committee, Dr. Oshani Dayaratna, Chair of the Food and Refreshment Committee, Dr. Piyumnil Gamagedara, Secretariat Assistant, Mrs. Ishara Vimala Veera, Management Assistant of CES, Mr. Asanta Ratnayaka, Comparing, Ms. Jennifer Edma, and their teams. I highly appreciate the Landscape and Works Department for their contribution in arranging this venue. And I would like to thank all the chairpersons, discussants, volunteer staff members, session coordinators, presenters, and authors contributing to the technical sessions. I'm very much thankful to Mr. Chaminda Ekanayaka, Kanishka Gambarapitiya, and their team for media assistance. Last but not least, I thank all the distinguished guests gathered here for gracing this event. I apologize if I miss any of you who contributed to ICCES 2023. Thank you again for making this conference a success. We hope that you will all enjoy the afternoon technical sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As we come to the close of this insightful conference, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all speakers, panelists, and attendees for their invaluable contributions, and I hope the discussions and connections made here continue to inspire and drive positive change in the days ahead. I encourage all attendees to participate in their respective technical sessions, which will commence at 1:30. We very much look forward to engaging discussions and deep dives into specialized topics. Thank you. Have a good day.